Good evening and welcome once again to another program of Issues in the News, where we discuss the important events that have taken place in Guyana over the past week or so. And as is the norm, tonight is no exception. I want to welcome our viewers who are joining us on television from region number 5, West Coast Berbice. Welcome. Across the Berbice River to region number 6, along the Quarantine Coast, New Amsterdam, East Bank of Berbice, Kanji, all the way up to Molson Creek, then down the Quarantine River to Oriala and Siparuta. All of you who are joining me on television in that beautiful region, welcome to another program of Issues in the News. To our viewers and listeners who are joining us on Freedom Radio from Rob Street, Georgetown, welcome to another program of Issues in the News. And last but not least, to the tens of thousands of you who are joining us on Facebook Live right across the length and breadth of Guyana, the Caribbean, North America, Europe, Asia, and beyond. Welcome to another program of Issues in the News. Share the live, share the program so that you and your friends and your followers can join us in tonight's discussion. Use the comment section. Use the comment section to ask your questions, voice your views, express your concerns. No abusive language. Fake profiles will be deleted. No indecent language, no racial slurs or allegations of a racial or hostile type will be entertained. You will be blocked and removed, as I have been doing. So share the program wide and far so that we have the largest possible audience. Soma, Geeta Prasad, Pam Singh, Thomas Joseph, Senita Sukra, and all of you, welcome, welcome, welcome. Well, most of you, if not all of you, would know that today the special leave application seeking leave to appeal the decision of the Guyana Court of Appeal to the CCJ, filed by fugitive offenders Nazar Mohammed and Azruddin Mohammed, was heard by the Caribbean Court of Justice today. We had very lengthy arguments, very engaging arguments, very stimulating arguments, and the court in the end adjourned the matter and reserved its ruling. It did not name a date or time when the ruling will be delivered, but in its closing remarks, the court, through the President, Justice Anderson, did acknowledge that extradition is a process that requires dispatch and that the court will take that into account. The court also, before it concluded its sitting, issued an admonition against all counsels from all sides that restraint should be exercised in relation to commentary in respect of the matter. So in due adherence to that admonition, I will exercise that restraint, except to say that it was a very intellectually exhilarating and stimulating exercise, arguing and being grilled and being questioned by the highest court in our land. All of you, or who wish to look at it, I understand it was broadcast live or streamed live if you wish, and many of you may have looked at it, but those who may wish to do so and may have not done so as yet, I understand that the live stream is still available on various websites. The YouTube, I'm told, and the CCJ um, page on Facebook. So you can get an opportunity to look at um, the hearing that we transpired today. The judges, well, the court, also ruled that the interim stay which they had granted against the proceedings in the magistrates' court going forward against the fugitive offenders Azruddin and Nazar Mohammed, that stay has been extended necessarily, because that is how a final court rules, or those are the types of orders that a final court would normally make, as I said on previous occasions. And as I am on court matters, I want to inform you that the case filed by Guyana against the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela at the International Court of Justice will come on for hearing on Monday, the 4th of May, 2026, and the hearings will continue each and every day of that week, and is likely to go over to the following week should the court decide it necessary to do so. Yours truly will join our team of international lawyers and will be appearing for and representing the interest of Guyana at that important hearing at the International Court of Justice. So most naturally for that week, I will not be doing issues in the news. In other news from the court, viewers would recall the case of Crystal Fisher against the Guyana Elections Commission and the Guyana Attorney General. This is another case filed by Forward Movement of Guyana that was dismissed in the High Court and dismissed in the Guyana Court of Appeal, or by the Guyana Court of Appeal. And Crystal Fisher is appealing now to the Caribbean Court of Justice. Crystal Fisher, if you can recall, challenged the legality of the electoral process which took place on September the 1st, 2025 in Guyana. They also challenged the processes used by GCOM leading up to the elections in relation to the placement of parties on the ballot paper. You would recall, and the matter was widely reported in the press, Forward Movement Guyana, though did not contest a number of geographic constituencies, wanted their name and symbol to be on the ballots in geographic constituencies that they did not contest the election in. A preposterous process, a preposterous contention, and that's the position which I have taken in the court, and I have managed to persuade the High Court and the Court of Appeal of Guyana that the process, the contentions rather, of Fisher is absolutely flawed, specious, and legally unsound, that the laws do not permit a party to be present on a ballot paper in a locality where the party is not contesting the elections in that locality. There is more common sense in that argument than law. And the courts, the two courts so far that have reviewed this matter, have dismissed it and labeled it as absolutely without merit. It is now at the final court, and we received directions recently from the Caribbean Court of Justice. The respondents, well, the appellant first is to file written submissions and a list of authorities that they will be relying upon on or before the 6th of May 2026, and the submissions must not exceed 15 pages in length. That's the appellant. They have up until the 6th of May 2026 to file the written submissions not exceeding 15 pages in length and to file their list of authorities upon which they rely. The respondents, and the respondents in this case, as you may recall, are the Attorney General and the Guyana Elections Commission. The respondents are each to file written submissions in response of no more than 15 pages in length as well, on or before the 22nd of May 2026, and we are also to file our list of authorities. So the two respondents, the Attorney General and GCOM, are to file submissions in response to the applicant's submissions not exceeding 15 pages, so we can't exceed 15 pages either, and we must file those submissions on or before the 22nd of May 2026. The appellant is to file written submissions in reply, if necessary, and such submissions to be no more than 5 pages in length, and those submissions must be filed by the 1st of June 2026. The hearing of the appeal is scheduled to take place at the seat of the court at 10 a.m. on Thursday, July the 16th, 2026. So the hearing of the appeal will take place at the seat of the court, meaning in Port of Spain, Trinidad, at 10 a.m. on July the 16th, 2026. And speaking times have also been allocated to each party. Each party will get 60 minutes each. So the appellant will get 60 minutes, the Attorney General will get 60 minutes, and GCOM will get 60 minutes. And we will have 15 minutes each to respond to the other. Each of us will have 15 minutes for reply. No, yes. So those are the case management directions which we have received from the Caribbean Court of Justice. And I went through it just so that you understand how the highest court in the country manages time and judicial resources, and how it restricts parties and their lawyers in the presentation of cases coming before that court. The Court of Appeal does similarly, and the High Court now is doing similarly. And I will stop there. These are the highest courts in the country, and they are carefully and scrupulously managing the time accorded and afforded to lawyers and parties in the presentation of their cases. And these lower courts are expected to emulate this outstanding example. There is one final court issue or court matter that I want to update you on, because persons comment and send messages to me asking for updates in these cases all the time. And it is the election fraud cases as they are being described in the press reports. Those trials, or the trial of those cases, have begun, as you know, and are ongoing before a magistrate at the Georgetown Magistrates Court. Faye Magotsi, Her Worship Faye Magotsi, is the magistrate, and the trial is ongoing. I believe, yes, Monday, they had a hearing where Sesnarain Singh, Guyana's ambassador to Brussels, testified. And a number of dates have already been given. And here again, here you have a lower court now managing its timetable. And I am saying that this is the position that all courts should adopt. So, you had a hearing on the 20th of April, the 24th of April, that's later this week, we'll have another hearing, and on the 27th until the 30th of April, every day during that period, you will have hearings. For the month of May, dates have already been fixed, the 18th of May, the 20th of May, the 21st of May, and the 22nd of May have already been fixed for the trial to continue. And for the month of June, dates again have already been fixed, from the 15th of June to the 19th of June, and then from the 22nd of June to the 26th of June. And tentative dates were also given for July, and those dates, though tentative, those dates are the 13th of July, the 17th of July, and the 20th of July, and the 24th of July. So all of you who are asking for updates, I provided you with the updates. So here you have, again, I want to stress, a magistrate's court planning and managing a very complex series of charges, trial of these charges involving dozens of witnesses. This is a good example for other courts to emulate. Many persons have also asked me for an update in relation to the law school, and I'm pleased. That is to say, the Council of Legal Education Law School that is being constructed, or that will be constructed in Guyana, at Turkine campus, I am pleased to report that the construction phase will soon commence. Advertisements for procurement of consultative services that include the detailed structural designs and drawings, the architectural drawings, design specifications, bills of quantities, engineer estimates, and the bid documents and the supervision services for the construction of the law school are to be published next week at the instance of the National Tender Board, NPTAB, the National Procurement Tender Administration Board. So, this advertisement seeking the procurement of these multiple services will be published next week. Let me read it quickly. The detailed structural designs and drawings, the architectural drawings, the design specifications, bills of quantities, engineers' estimate, bid documents, and the supervision services for the construction of the edifice that will house the law school will be the bid inviting tender, or the tender inviting bid, for all of those services will be published next week. So progress is being made in that direction. You would recall also in my budget presentation, I spoke about the establishment of, or rather the construction of a building that will accommodate the Deeds and Commercial Registry in Berbice, in region number 6. Berbicians would know, and others may know, that the Deeds and Commercial Registry is now accommodated on the ground floor of the High Court building at Esplanade Road, New Amsterdam. And it has been there since the construction of that building. Now, I have reported on this program on many occasions the massive expansions in operations, in services that this important institution is now providing. I gave you some statistics about how many companies and business registrations are being done daily in Guyana, weekly and monthly and even annually. And I would have disclosed to you that the volume has increased many folds when you compare to previous years. Naturally, we have to expand the physical space and infrastructure. We have to expand the resource base of this institution if it is to not only cope with the expanded volume of business it now has to deal with, but if it is to discharge its functions, most of which are legal functions, if it is to discharge those functions competently, efficiently, and diligently. And most naturally, we have to provide the resources to ensure that this important institution discharge or continues to discharge its functions efficiently and diligently. So it cannot continue to operate in the cramped conditions in which it is currently located, and that is at the ground floor of the New Amsterdam High Court. Facilities, coincidentally, which it shares with the Supreme Court Registry. So it is not even the sole occupant. And this is a document-driven institution. While we are going paperless and we are going digital, it's a transitionary stage. We still have volumes and volumes of paper, crucial papers, people's titles, people's company documents, people's deeds, people's agreements of sale, people's transports, people's powers of attorney, people's companies' records, their business registration, all of that. This is the agency that is the lawful repository of all those documents. And we have to find space to put them. So, as a result, in our 2026 budget, we budgeted for the establishment of this edifice. It will be a modern 5-story building. It is going to be located conveniently on a plot of land that is diagonally across from the Berbice High Court. That is to say, diagonally across Esplanade Road in New Amsterdam from where the High Court is. So there is no great inconvenience that would be occasioned by this new location. It's just across the road from where it is currently located. And it's going to be a 5-storied building, as I said. Big, huge building. I don't have the specifications in terms of square feet, but it's a big building. It will adequately accommodate the staff, the members of the public. It will have adequate storage. It will obviously be appointed with modern facilities and amenities. It will have parking spaces for both staff and members of the public or users of the services of this organization. It will have backup generator, all these modern facilities. It will also have some, I believe, 2 living quarters, and it will have the capacity to generate electricity by solar. So the tender for this project, it has already been publicly advertised by the NPTAB, and the tender is scheduled to be opened on May the 12th, 2026. These are all manifesto election promises that are now being delivered. This is why you voted for us. That is why 55 or close to 55% of the people, this is what they voted for. And we have a duty to deliver on these projects. One of those projects, the President opened yesterday, and it is the 6 billion Aubrey Barker Road that was redone. And again, it's a key road linkage, linking the Ogle Eccles Highway to Mandela Avenue. It is 4.4 kilometers, and it creates a crucial link, a triangular link with the East Coast, the East Bank, and South Georgetown. And that's the kind of road connectivity that we are building out across the country. And that is the transformation that we often speak about. Last week, or rather, I did a video which was published, I think, Sunday morning, where I went to the back of Enterprise Village and I spoke to you from that location. First of all, let me thank you for viewing that video. That video was widely viewed and widely shared. I welcome that, and I am deeply grateful. And I welcome your comments as well. And I plan to do more of that. And I'm encouraging my colleague ministers to do more of that. Of course, I will encourage the Department of Public Information to do more of that, and members of the state media and private media. This is a success story. This is our story to tell. It matters not that you may not be supporters of the government. These are projects of national importance, of transformational effect and impact that ought to make every Guyanese proud. So I'll be doing these videos as time permits, hopefully once every week, so that I will deliberately concentrate in areas and in localities, and will consider projects that are not usually in the public's eye because of their location. That road, that power corridor, or utility corridor as I called it, is located some 6 to 8 miles, about 6 miles I think, from the East Coast Public Road, way in the backlands of the East Coast of Demerara. Of course, I read some of the comments. You have the regular naysayers. I don't know if it is jealousy, if it is envy, if it is that they're incapable of offering congratulations or compliments, or they're just covetous, to use common parlance. Because I saw people saying, well, the road is too narrow, and that the road has crush and run. First of all, it is not a public road. It is a road that will be used only by persons or agencies that have responsibility to maintain and upkeep the utility poles and utility cables. So it's not a public road for the public. It's a corridor. And the road is not completed as yet. Next week I plan to show you a different part of the road. But that is an exercise that will continue. And these are manifesto promises that we made, which we are delivering upon. I saw published in the news our Minister of Public Works, or Minister within the Ministry of Public Works, Madan Lal Ramraj, at the back of Agriculture Road, Triumph or Monrepose on the east coast of Demerara, visiting a huge tarmac which we are building. And the tarmac is at the back of Agriculture Road. Again, it is about, I would say, almost 3 to 4 miles from the East Coast Public Road. And it spans a huge expanse of what used to be cane beds and farmers' beds and so on. Abandoned lands. It was not gainfully occupied. Spanning a long section. It's from one canal till to the other canal, from Triumph all the way to Monrepose. And it's wide. And that tarmac is expected to accommodate street vendors who are vending along the Agriculture Road at Monrepose on the east coast of Demerara. During the elections campaign, myself, Vice President Barajagdeo, myself, Pandit Suresh, MP Suresh, and a few persons, maybe Dr. Frank Anthony, may have been with us. We met with the persons at Agriculture Road, the vendors who have erected all kinds of wooden stalls on government reserves along the government reserve adjacent to Agriculture Road. And they made a request that they made a request for us to construct this tarmac, and they will move their operations to that location. The location was discussed with them, and we are completing that tarmac now. And hopefully, we will be able to clear all those encumbrances, those stalls, and those erections that are now on the government public reserve south, immediately west of Agriculture Road itself. And those who are acquainted with the geography will know what I'm talking about. West of Agriculture Road, you have a whole line of businesses. They will move and they will be located at this tarmac. Again, a simple campaign promise, and I want to spend being delivered, and I want to spend some time on that today. During the campaign, we also promised lands. Now, first of all, we promised beautification of the country. We promised a better quality of life. We said we will improve the recreational facilities, and that's an ongoing process. We will install street lights, that's an ongoing process. We will concrete the drains, that is an ongoing process. We will install cameras in communities, that is an ongoing process. We will clean the burial grounds and clean the communities, and I could speak about that. That will start, there's a process ongoing already, but it will intensify. And maybe on another program I'll have to speak about that. But part of the promise in improving the quality of your life and the quality of life in these communities is to remove these irritants. And I say irritants respectfully, because a man is earning a living, he's not necessarily an irritant. But we are finding alternative accommodations for these places. For example, the small furniture manufacturers, the bottom house operations, the mechanic shops, the body work shops, the trade shops. These things are causing unusual, unnecessary, and untold problems in the communities. The noise, the dust, the pollution. And we want to rid the communities of these problems. So we are finding lands and building facilities that will relocate these business operations away from the residential part of the communities, so that when you are at home, you can enjoy peace and quiet. The noise nuisance and the garbage are all part of a grand design which we promised. We got to get lands, we have to clear the lands, and we have to build out these facilities. It will take some time, but we are going to get there. That is our promise. Another issue that we are addressing currently is also identifying lands that will accommodate animals. We, in Guyana, we are traditionally and historically a farming people, a farm-loving people. We rear cattle, we rear livestock, we rear ducks, we rear poultry, and we do it at our house or at our homes, and sometimes it can cause problems. It causes nuisance in the streets, it causes accidents on the road, it causes destruction to private property. We have to find a suitable place where the farmers can take their animals in the backlands. We are also working on that. And as I said, these are all manifesto campaign promises. So when we say that we work every single day as a government, that is what we mean. And we deliver on these promises. Another important matter that I want to speak about is the establishment of the Guyana Development Bank. Another promise that we made on the campaign trail that is in our manifesto. The bill, this bank will come into operation with a bill or a law that will establish it and that will lay out its structure and will stipulate its operational parameters and its organizational structure. It is not going to be done in an ad hoc way. It is going to be done in a law. The bill has already been drafted. We viewed models that exist in several countries, including Trinidad and Tobago, Jamaica, Botswana, Nigeria, and Singapore, among others. And we borrowed different components from their statutory and managerial model, and we have created our indigenous prototype. And that bill, the President has transmitted it. I've submitted it to the President, and the President has transmitted it to a team that His Excellency has appointed, a team of technical people to review it. And once reviewed, it will swiftly go to Parliament, and it will be operationalized very shortly thereafter. You will recall we explained what is the purpose of the bank. It is part of our broader economic transformation to build a modern, inclusive, diversified, and equitable Guyana. There still is large segments of our population who cannot access finance from the existing commercial institutions. This is to ensure that they have access. The limit will be about $3 million. There will be no interests, and there will be no collateral required as security for the loan. It will cater directly for agro and agro-processing types activities, small manufacturing, the same furniture factory, the small poultry operations, small processing operations, that craft operations. It will target those small and medium enterprises. You will pay no interest. You will not require to lodge security. The bank will start with 100 million US dollars as its start-out capital, and it will lend from there. So we will be making more information available, but persons should begin to think of how to approach the bank, think about the business proposals that they will have to supply. I understand that the requirements are not going to be rigid, but at the end of the day, it's a financial institution. So it will have to conform with transparency and accountability, and you will have to prepare documentary requirements that will be laid out before you can access this money. So start to think, get your paperwork up, start to think about business engagements that you may wish to go in if you have not gone into one already, so that you can benefit from this facility. This will create jobs. This will cause an economic explosion at a particular level of our society. And this is also, as I said, to make our economy more diverse and to ensure that there is equity. Oftentimes we speak about the big projects, and sometimes people feel that we are focusing only on the big projects and only certain people will benefit from those big projects. That is not true. We ensure that we have an equitable developmental plan that caters for all strata of society and all station of people from all the geographic areas of our country. This is another initiative that manifests our policy imperative in that regard. The bank at some level will also be partnering with other commercial banks and will co-finance ventures with small persons so that they can get higher loans, larger loans, as much as $10 million. That is also one phase of the bank's operation. It will co-finance with existing commercial banks up to 10 million to finance small and medium business enterprises. This is what we are doing in government, my friends. Every single day we are working on getting these initiatives out. Another important announcement that I want to make is that, you know, Guyana is a member of the Caribbean Financial Action Task Force. The Caribbean Financial Action Task Force is that regional institution that monitors, evaluates, and ensure compliance of countries in this hemisphere's compliance with international rules and regulations regarding anti-money laundering and financing the countering of terrorism. And this is a major issue in today's world, where there is cross-border crime and financial crime and terrorism and gold smuggling and evasion of taxes and so on. And every year, well, not every year, every 3 years, each country in the region must undergo what is called a mutual evaluation peer assessment exercise, where the country's financial system, the country's legal framework, the country's law enforcement network, the country's accountability architecture are all examined by a team assembled by the Financial Action Task Force of the Caribbean and appraised, or yes, appraised, examined, to ensure that they are compliant. And if they are not, they work with them to ensure that there is compliance. And if for whatever reason there is refusal to comply or failure to comply, then there is a penalty position, a penalty regime that kicks in. We know about it because at one point in time, when the AFC, AP, and U used their one-seat majority, when we were a minority government, they caused that penalty regime to be activated against Guyana. Many of you know that story too well. So in 2024, Guyana went through that exercise and we acquitted ourselves with distinction. In fact, we topped the independent English-speaking Caribbean. We got the highest score. That was 2024. In 2027, we are up for review again. Yours truly is the minister with responsibility for that sector. We have already begun our preparation for that mutual evaluation exercise that will take place next year. Later in the month of May of this year, we will be going to a conference in Trinidad where we will update the CFATF on the work that we have done so far, and we will report to them what we are doing, what the work we have in progress, and what we plan to do to ensure that we comply with all of our outstanding obligations so that we are ready for the 2027 assessment. It's an ongoing process. So I believe from May the 24th to the 28th, we will be attending that conference in Trinidad and Tobago, the Guyana delegation, comprising of very large number of bodies in Guyana: the Central Bank of Guyana, the Guyana Revenue Authority, the Guyana Gold Board, SOCO, the Police Force, the Director of Public Prosecutions, a whole set of organizations normally attend these conferences because their agencies are all part of the framework that have to ensure that they comply with these international standards. So that's another important issue that I want to speak about. And let me take a break and look at some of the comments that you are making. I said to you that engage me so that I can respond. I see somebody said that, let me don't bother repeat what I just read. Somebody said Borda was a dictator. Well, that's not anybody disputing that. Anyhow, let me see. I think some persons are complaining here about some aspects of the service at the Deeds and Commercial Registry. That is why we are building out infrastructure that will allow us to improve the efficiency of these institutions at every one of the location other than on the Essequibo coast, where we built a new building. Every one of the Georgetown and Berbice location, let me put it that way, are severely cramped for space. Severely cramped for space. The Georgetown operation is, one part of it is in the old New Building Society building on Avenue of the Republic, and the other part of it is on the ground floor or part of the ground floor of the High Court building in Georgetown. And at both locations, the operations are bursting at the seams. And we have to get more space. So a building will have to be constructed in Georgetown in the very near future, and I'll speak about that on on a future program. But an important thing that you are not seeing as well, which I'll speak about, is the digital transformation that is taking place at these registries. These registries have containers and containers of documents that date back to 200 years. You would not believe it. 200 years of titles and documents, and they have to store them. So we are transitioning them now. We are transitioning that manual inventory and registry into a digital registry. That is a humongous undertaking, but we have to start somewhere. We have already begun to digitize some operations at the registry, and many of the operations now are electronic or digital, if you wish. A lot of the records now that are being accumulated are also digital and electronic. But we have to deal with the back records that date back, as I said, some as long as 150 or 200 years. That's the type of back-end work that is being done every day in the government, in the back rooms, but you wouldn't know about it because nobody's telling the story. And that's the story that I want to start to tell, and I'm encouraging all those who are engaged in these transformation projects to start to tell the story. We need to inundate the public domain with this type of information. I want to thank you very much for spending the last hour with me. My operator has signaled to me that we have passed program time. I hope that you have enjoyed the last hour. May God continue to bless you. I'll see you next week. Take care, enjoy the rest of this evening, and stay safe until we meet again next Tuesday. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of the evening.